we're back for more laughter. Did any of you have to call people you don't like in between? Just so you could suffer for a few minutes? Well, I think we're going to go back to our laugh and sort of recap it so we can get through the whole thing. And this is very important, the laugh and the guffaw, because this can really build up your immune system and help you throughout life. You actually can stack up, sort of have residual benefits. Well, Norman Cousins used this to help heal himself of something called ankylosing spondylitis, and that took me forever to even say. And he found that when he laughed for 2 hours, he didn't have to take pain medication for quite some time. So let's all try this. Are you ready? Here we go. Big toothy grin. Now remember, it has to be wide and toothy. Now I want you to show your molars. If you don't have any, show your gums. And we need everybody to do this, including the men. Sometimes men have a little bit of a problem getting involved and looking a little silly in front of each other. You know that routine. That's why they never ask for directions. You've been with a man when you've been lost, haven't you? You say, where are we? They say, we're almost there. Well, why don't you ask that person? Well, what does he know? Well, he knows where you are. That's why Moses was in the desert for 40 years. If he had had a woman with him, she would have asked the burning bush. They would have been out of there. So now we have everybody involved, don't we? We did our big toothy grin. Now open your eyes. This makes you look alert. Now raise your eyebrows. This makes you look tall and thin. That's your new low-fat face. Now everybody, reach down and grab hold of your belly. Keeping in mind that you must take ownership of whatever you've created. If you fed it, it's yours. Now, some people are lucky. They have different sections they can hang on to. So just decide which layer you want to hang on to. Now, if you don't have enough of your own, hang on to the person next to you. Now, the next part is very easy. I want you to look at somebody's face so that you can experience joy yourself by looking at somebody else. So look at somebody's face, hang on to your belly, and on the count of 3, we're all going to go, and we're going to try to laugh for 30 seconds. I don't know if I can handle that much joy. Well, see if you can handle it anyway. You ready? Here we go. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't that feel excellent? Of course it does. But see, I prove my point every time when I express a desire to do this with adults in my workshops. The first response is, If I had been saying this to a group of 3 or 4-year-olds, and I said, we're going to laugh for 30 seconds, you know what would happen? Practically the whole group would go, I could do it for much longer. But see, the adult in us, because we've grown to get to the point where we don't have time to enjoy ourselves. I mean, I may have fun someday. That's too long. 30 seconds is too long. You ever had a kid stop at your house, 3 or 4 years old, knock on the door, say, "Can I come in? I'm exhausted from playing. Maybe I can clean your toilet or something." We even had some people time it. They were timing it to see how long. Wanted to make sure it didn't go too long. And there's wonderful benefits to laughter. There really are. You ought to have a humor room in your house. You ought to have one in the place you work at. You should have a joy gang. A jollyologist. Well, when people play along the way, they actually increase productivity, don't they? Because you stop watching the clock. You stop saying, "Is it time for my break? Is it Friday yet? Maybe Sunday I'll enjoy myself. But I don't have too much time. Maybe when I go on a trip, but they don't pay me enough. When I get the money, the pitiful substance, I'll go someplace I don't like, and I'll be unhappy there. And then you die. Your family gets your money, and they go on a trip. So don't wait. Laugh every day. It's very important. Learn from children. Children laugh just about any time they feel like it because they're in the moment, don't they? And they try to get what they need when they can, too, don't they? They're like woodpeckers. Anytime any one of my grandchildren comes to visit and they want something, they never stop. I want a cookie. I want a lollipop. Wait a minute. I want a cookie. I want a lollipop. Wait a minute. I want a cookie. I want a cookie. I want a cookie. I want a cookie. Woodpecker drills. And they do things very spontaneously. Unfortunately, I don't have all of my grandchildren nearby, but I have one that periodically I get to see, and she's a hoot. I go over there for treatment periodically. I went over there recently, and she was standing stark naked in the living room, in high heels. And she was applauding herself. When's the last time you did that? I decided I was going to try that because I loved it. And I like to sort of do these things to my husband because he's much more conservative than I am. So I greeted him one night, stark naked, in wingtips. And the first thing he said is, "What are the neighbors going to think?" I said, "I don't know. I haven't shown them yet." But see, that's a typical response why a lot of us don't do a lot of things, even laugh. I mean, when you're doing that, a little exercise, how many of you feel foolish or you start to think, is anybody watching? I wonder if anybody's watching. I wonder if they are watching. Well, you know they are everywhere, don't you? I saw them in a van coming up here in the expressway. See, it's very easy to get tuned into they because you start learning this principle when you're a little kid. Little kids are here and there. They move around a lot, don't they? They never stop moving. They make funny faces. But by the time you're 3, you're given 350,000 no's. Stop it. Sit down. Be quiet. Who do you think you are? Just who do you think you are? Do any of you remember the fact that you couldn't use the good scissors? Please don't use my good scissors. Well, what does that mean? What pair should I use? I guess I should use the pair that don't cut. Well, you start to internalize that information, don't you? You start to put yourself on the back burner. You start to wait. Maybe there's a right time to do these things. So you start saving stuff. Start waiting for a special occasion. I remember as a kid I had a pair of underpants my mother didn't let me wear. Because they were too good. I still have them. They just don't fit anymore. That's the whole point, is it? To keep them new so they stay in the drawer? You get to have an observance once in a while. How many of you have good dishes? Nobody can sit at the table and use the good dishes, especially the family. The family doesn't deserve these things. They get to eat off the chip china. Drink it out of the jelly glasses. Then when people you don't know come over, you say, hey, come on in. You can eat off these dishes. We don't know who you are, but it's fine. How about the good room? How many of you tell your family, please, don't go in that room? I just cleaned it. No problem. We'll sit in a filthy room. Maybe we can go outside and look at through the window of the clean room. And then, most importantly, there's that real special occasion, death. Have you ever been to a funeral where people actually walk around saying, they look fabulous. They've never looked this good. Have you ever seen them look this good? That's because somebody finally went to their closet, got their good stuff, and put it on them. A special occasion. Think of the rules and regulations so many of us are invested in from this committee that's up there judging, telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. How many of you made sure that you organized your home before you left today? Just in case. One of the things my mother always said to me is, you never know. I don't know what you don't know, but you never know. So, of course, you have to make your bed, because you never know. What if somebody stops by? What if the bed checkers come over? So you go through your whole life with this fear that people you have never met might come over your house and check your beds. And you tell people, I'm not going out. I didn't finish the bed. I had some people in a workshop once who told me they could never leave their house until they did all the dishes. I said, take them with you. Put them in the car. Then they'll never find them. And think of the underwear. How many of you wear your underwear every day? Now, do you put it on, and as you put it on, you say, oh, joy, ecstasy. I can't wait to take a look at them periodically. No, we wear them because we could be in an accident. We don't want to be in an accident, right? Especially if we don't have clean underwear on. Nobody stops to think rationally about these things. The fear is so embedded. What if I am in an accident? Will my underwear stay clean for long? And see, this is at the root of a lot of our irrationality. And irrationality is what causes upsetness. And upsetness is what causes anxiety. And anxiety often leads to depression. And then, bingo, no humor. So I would say, take a look at your committee. Who's on it? See your mind like a big bus. Put your committee on board and take them for a ride. Look in the mirror in the morning and say, I'm driving the bus. I don't think I'll wear underpants, and I'm not making my bed either. See, if you really look at life the way it's meant to be, you're the only one that can make you happy. No one else can. You're driving the bus, ultimately. Now, let me give you a few quirky ways to laugh at yourself, because everybody in this room's a joke. They just don't get it sometimes. We're all a walking sitcom, aren't we? And there's nothing funnier than the things that come out of your lips. How many of you have ever gone someplace and told somebody, I always get the slow line? Oh, always get the slow line. How many of you get the slow line? And of course, we want to tell people over and over so we can suffer before we go. Then when we get there and we get it, we're so excited because we were right. But we really don't have to get overly anxious about being in a slow line, especially if we exaggerate the context of what we tell ourselves would ordinarily disturbs us. Exaggerate the humor in it. The next time you go to the supermarket, look around. Say, my God, they're back. See, oftentimes irrationality is because we think we're the center of the universe. It's as if there's a plot that people are sent to wherever we are. So if they are wherever we are, enjoy them. Say, wow, it's so fascinating having you in the store with me again. I use this principle sometimes with people when they're catastrophizing and awfulizing, especially in supermarkets, because it's very funny. I had this woman next to me. She was beating a loaf of bread to death. She said, every time I come in here, it fills up with people. I said, isn't that odd? The same thing happens to me. She said, something's going on. I said, well, I noticed the manager. He goes in his office, and he's calling people up. And they're coming here to see you and I. She finally got it, and she went, ah. She dropped her quarter right in the aisle. Now, a few humorous ways of seeing stress a little differently. Remember, we said wit and wisdom. I would suggest you get yourself a pair of these. Use them when you're driving through traffic. Especially when you have to merge. People don't let you in, put them on. I've done it many times, and they often go, come on in. Use them when you're driving, when you're in the supermarket. Get your cart. Beep, beep. You'll notice that the kids get it right away. They wave, and they say, hi, lady. You can hear the parents, don't talk to that woman. More importantly, use them on yourself. Look in the mirror every day and say, how serious is this? Get yourself some costumes. For those of you who are perfectionists and you want your house viewed by all people because of the things you've done, get yourself a cape. I have a little ta-da cape. Put this on, swoop around your house. Tell people, look at the oven. I just finished cleaning it. Swoop around your workplace. Tell people it's a good thing I'm here. I don't know what would happen if I wasn't in. If you like to be in charge and you're really in control and you love everybody to know it, get yourself one of these. Put this on. Walk around your workplace. I'm in charge of everything. I'm not even going to the bathroom. I can't leave my desk. Try it at home if you're having an argument with a loved one. This is what I love to do. I put the hat on, I go out in the yard, and I stand there. My husband always says, get in the house. I just fold my arms and say, did I win? He always says, come in. You won. Because he's got the neighbors on his committee. Try it when your kids are nagging you and they want you to take them places and you're sick and exhausted. Say, come on, I'll take you to the mall. Let's go. You may not be ready for that version. You may need a training version. And for those of you who are martyrs, I'm sure there's some of you out there, you probably want to get yourself one of these so you can be as helpful as possible without doing a thing for yourself. You know me, I'm always there. I'm almost dead, but it doesn't matter. Someday when I'm gone, they'll know how really good I was. Yes, and then they'll sell you dishes. Now, of course, if none of this information has mattered to you one way or the other, and you want to insist on catastrophizing, awfulizing, whining, and moaning, then I would get a whip. Anytime you have the opportunity, self-flagellate. As soon as you start the day, God, it's awful. It's raining and I'm bloated. But for the most part, keep this in mind. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. Thank you.
Production of WGBH, Boston.
In association with the Humor Potential. Funding for The Joy of Stress is provided by Tufts Health Plans with our 9,000 doctors and 56 hospitals, encouraging stress management education for the promotion of healthier living. And by viewers like you.